He was one guy who was always very calm, seasoned, and never seems to rush things, and one who was sensible. He was a best example of what we call gentleness. Welcome. This is what we call last word on Sunday, and our word for today is called gentleness. Now, the Right Reverend Dr. Charles Kifisho, the HOD of theology at Presbyterian University of East Africa and the former chairperson of NCCK, is best remembered to many as a scholar, as a seasoned preacher, and a passionate man of God, one who saw himself as calm and reasonable, and one personality who was not quick to be angry. Now, in our last word on Sunday, we present the word gentleness because Reverend Kefisho, who will be buried on Tuesday next week, is one guy who was a good example of what we call gentleness. Now, gentleness is a simple word that simply means showing care, respect in the way that you act or speak. Now, gentleness is actually measured by the way you speak and the way you act towards people. Now, allow us to say that gentleness is the opposite of the word harshness. It's one of the characters traits that you'd identify with Jesus. Jesus was not known as a harsh person. Jesus was known as a character that was actually gentle. And if you're looking for gentleness, then the best example that we can go to and see it is Jesus Christ. Now, interesting enough, or ironically enough, it's one of the traits that is actually overlooked when we are looking for leaders. Every time when we go out in the business, we would look for courage, would look for persistence, would look for maybe other traits, but hardly would we look at a trait of gentleness to elect somebody in leadership. But again, we need to give 4 reasons why gentleness should be a quality that we should be looking for when we are electing leaders. In this time when we are looking for leaders, especially in 2022, one of the biggest traits that we do not need to compromise, one of the things that needs to determine and actually needs to be like a swing of quality that is going to determine who is going to win to get our vote, then I think gentleness takes the day. And allow us to present 4 reasons. Number one, we want to say that it is the best practice during tough times. During those times when we are going through difficult times, like the ones that we are going through, times of uncertainty, times of fear, times of lack, and pain, and a lot of challenges, then the best leader that needs to give us direction is a gentle leader, because a leader who acts in a gentle way is going to understand and is not going to push people to the wall, is not going to discourage people, is going to inspire people. So one of the greatest leadership traits that is required, especially during difficult times, and especially when we are coming out of difficult times, or when we are during an hour of crisis like the one that you're going through, then is gentleness, and that is very important. So it is the best leadership practice during tough times. Number two, gentleness communicates 3 things. It communicates empathy, it communicates compassion and trust to the followers, and these are the things that actually followers actually need so that they can give their best. A leader who does not communicate empathy, trust and compassion is a leader who will not have anybody following him. And so it is very important when a leader is able to communicate empathy, that I care, that I'm concerned, I am bothered. It really hurts me when I see my people hurting or going through challenges. And so gentleness is that one trait that would make people to follow you, because they are like looking at you and saying, this leader is concerned. When you ask people, how are you feeling, I'm sorry for what you're going through, and they see that you really care, and they are going to trust you, and they are going to follow you. So number three, it's an appreciation of humanness. We are living in time and age where people are treated like a machine, where customers are in a hospital, they are treated, instead of them being seen as patients, they are seen as customers, where members in a church are seen as clients or as numbers. And every time when we act in a gentle manner, then we simply are appreciating the humanness in people. Look at this. When we have courage, and then that courage pushes us to be harsh, then it just shows how animal or minimalistic we are. But we are saying, and somebody wrote say this, that gentleness, and I like the definition, because he said, and I'm going to read, he said courage, gentleness is courage without violence, is strength without harshness, and is love without anger. I take that again because it is very important, that gentleness is courage without violence, strength without harshness, and love without anger. Very, very important. And when we do that, it simply communicates that we are gentle. And then number four, which is also very important, is that when we need gentleness today, because it gives us, or it grants us, what we call self-control in difficult situations. In difficult situations, that is the moment that gentleness is actually required in heavy measures. Heavy downloads of gentleness are required when people are going through crisis. And when a leader is able to exercise self-control, and the desire not to act so quickly, and the desire to hold on and not to overreact of a situation, then that kind of a trait then enables people to process and to be able to persevere, and to emerge as winners at the tail end of the story. It simply also means that after the crisis is over, there is continuity, there is continuity, there is growth, there is development. The ability to be gentle assures that there is going to be people are going to be temperate, there is going to be a slowed or moderate pace in embracing the change. For most people, when we are going through crisis, we want to rush, we want to dive in, we want to, the adrenaline in us actually wants to force us to act in ways that sometimes lead us into trouble. But when we are gentle, we take calculated risk, we are able to assess the situation, and we are able to ask ourselves, which is the best way? How can we be able to handle this? And then allow us to say, fifth, we need gentleness because the world's greatest leaders were actually gentle. Mention any leader, mention Mother Teresa, mention somebody like Martin, Garthi, mention Jesus Christ, mention somebody like Bishop Desmond Tutu. All these were examples of leaders that were gentle, and they continue to inspire us even today, because we need to tell you that gentleness is the greatest force that needs to be exercised. And much as we go for abrasive, aggressive, charismatic, energetic kind of leaders, and they steal our hearts, one of the things that we actually need is gentleness. And by the way, allow me to tell you that gentleness is one of those traits that can be able to crack and can be able to break any bone that is ahead of us. So when you are looking for a leader next time, what are we telling you? Just as the great Reverend Dr. Charles Fisher was a gentle guy, we need gentleness. We need to elect a leader who is gentle. And we are saying, because it is the best practice, it is the best virtue when a leader is going through crisis. Number two, you said it communicates empathy, it communicates trust, it communicates compassion, traits that would make people to follow you. Again, it is an appreciation of humanness, because we've said gentleness is strength without it's courage without violence, it is strength without harshness, it is love without anger. And these are the elements that we need to go to the next level. And then we said when we are gentle, we are able to give ourselves self-restraint, we have self-control, we don't overreact, we don't push ourselves beyond. And it is very important trait that ensures that there is continuity, there is growth. And then, of course, the world's greatest leaders actually packed gentleness in their bag. Have you packed gentleness in your bag? By the way, do you know that gentleness is one of the fruit of the Holy Spirit? If you're given to harshness, to being rude, dealing people in a harsh manner, then I think you need to sit down and ask God to help you to be gentle. Gentleness simply means that you have a lot of grace with rude people. It simply means that you are able to withstand people who hurt you and who speak in a rude and a harsh manner. And it is very important when you are gentle, because you are able to concede defeat, and you don't seek revenge in your life. For those of you that are following us, Pastor Boniface Ndegwa and Jeremy Mwash, and the many of you that have followed us. This was last week on Sunday, and our quote today was on gentleness. And you've said that gentleness is the opposite of harshness. And you've said that gentleness is one of those traits that are actually underrated and underutilized and most neglected trait when it comes to electing leaders. But again, we've said if we need to survive, especially through difficult times, if we need the trait that is going to help us to emerge as winners, if we need to have continuity and growth and improvement after such a moment like this of COVID, then we've said we need to be gentle. Question: are you looking for? Are you gentle? Do you have grace? Do you want to continue? Do you want to rise to the next level? And what are we saying this evening? We are saying be gentle. We encourage you to follow us on our social platform, whether on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or on TikTok. We are everywhere, even on Instagram. And until next week, such a time as this, thank you very much. My name is John Kemani, and remember what you always say here, inawezekana. Thank you for watching.